Glad to have you back. It's still VOP this morning. About 100 terrorists have reportedly been killed as Boko Haram fighters engaged in a fierce battle with the ISWAP. According to an exclusive report by counterinsurgency expert and security analyst Gazola Makama on Monday, Boko Haram appears to be defeating ISWAP, overrunning several of their camps. Boko Haram and ISWAP were locked in a fierce battle for control of strategic island settlements in Abadam and Kukawa local government areas of Borno State. Bakama disclosed that the clashes occurred between November 5 and 8, 2025, across key islands identified as Sahel 1, Dogonchuku, Mangari, and the riverine basin of Tumbun Guinea and Tumbun Dalo, Tumbun Sanu, Mangari, and Domba. The report stated that Boko Haram fighters, led by commanders Hassan Buduma and Mohod Hassan, launched coordinated attacks on ISWAP position using multiple motorized watercraft equipped with heavy weapons. The group reportedly advanced from Tumbun Guinea through the upper river basin, striking ISWAP bases in an early morning assault, described as an amphibious attack in insurgent style. Bakabura Kolo, a member of a local anti-jihadist militia working alongside security forces, said that ISWAP suffered heavy casualties. A former Boko Haram member who now monitors extremist activity in Borno State corroborated the claim, saying that several weapons were seized during the clashes. The former Labour Party spokesperson in Lagos, Ife Salako, has also condemned the ongoing wave of killings in Nigeria, describing them as meaningless. In a post on his X handle, Salako questioned Tinubu's ability to handle the country's security challenges. He highlighted the rising insecurity and the repeated attack by terrorists across the nation. We have with us in the studio Prince Francis Chilakai, political and public affairs analyst, and also Mr. Elvis Elimihele, who is a political and public affairs commentator too. They will help us in the studio to help dissect this particular story. And also from Abuja, we've been joined by Lieutenant LD Dumbin, who happens to be a media personality as well as a social commentator. And from Oka, we have Engineer Fimba Ajegu, social commentator as well as a chairman, safety engineers in Anambra State. Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning, Prince Francis. Good morning, Mr. Elvis. Good morning, Engineer Fimba, if you can hear me. We'll try to establish communication. Good morning, Mr. Lieutenant Dumbe, if you can hear me too.
Hey, good morning.
All right.
Looking pretty in pink.
Thank you so much. Good to have you join today's conversation. Now, let me start off with the man in the studio, Prince Francis Chilaka. Let me start off with you. What do you make of this particular, news? Over 100 persons. More like some would say that it's more like two families are now two.
What are we? Don't even need to go far. What are we celebrating? Is this something that should make news
now,
for us?
The question I'm asking is this: why is it that we have two terror groups dragging for a territory on our soil? I'm talking about the sovereign soil of Nigeria, Borno State, for example. They've sacked the people who are supposed to be there. They've sent them to IDP camps, and they are fighting, having gone well over possession of land that belongs to Nigeria.
You know, it's funny when you see some charlatans open their mouth and say Nigeria is a sovereign state, and because Nigeria is a sovereign state, they don't expect American president, they don't expect America, they don't expect anybody to get involved in our internal politics. But you can see how low we have become. We have become so low that we sit back and we're watching two fraternity groups fight themselves, and we're happy. We're clapping hands for them. We want to see who takes out who first. I mean, is it not shameful? It's at this time you expect to see a gallant military take charge, decimate the two groups, but they are waiting. They are smiling. Everybody's happy about it. And then tomorrow somebody will come and tell you Nigeria is a sovereign state. You're a sovereign state. Yeah, people are fighting within your own country to take over some states and make up the sovereignty of your state. And make up the sovereignty of your country. And they're keeping quiet. So for me, this shouldn't be news. This is an indictment on government. This is to show you that the government is not ready and is not willing to fight insurgency. That is what it simply means.
All right. Thank you so much, Prince Francis. Engineer Fimba, let's get your opinion on this one. Good morning once again. I tried saying good morning earlier, but I guess maybe, you didn't open or the mic was not. Good morning, Engineer Fimba, if you can hear me. And what do you make of this particular revolution? You know, that ISWAP and Boko Haram decided to engage themselves in a gun duel, fighting over, you know, what they call an island, fertile ground, actually, for them now to establish their camp. And this particular land we're looking at happens to be in Borno State. A particular local government have been sacked. Every member of the local government is no longer there within the lectured axis. And we have, you know, non-state actors now fighting to take over security of who occupies that particular land. Please, I'd like you to unmute your microphone if you can hear me.
Very clear one. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
All right, we're still having a little technical glitch with that. I'm so sorry, engineer, but we couldn't hear you from this end. Let's get your opinion on this, Mr. Elvis.
Thank you so much. It's not far from what he has said. It shows a failed state. Absolutely failed state. When we're talking
Absolutely failed.
yes, if you are talking of,
Some people will still
no.
argue that it's not failed. Yeah,
No, it's
failing.
that means the same independent nation that we keep saying is a sovereign nation. There is another government somewhere
Within the nation.
within the nation. What do you call that? What do you call that? That was even part of it. It's just like what the Nigerian government fought in 1967 to 1970 when the Biafra said they want to go. So now another government is inside within another nation, within the nation. Then where is the armed forces of this nation?
Yeah, well, the armed forces might be waiting for them to deplete their numbers and then come in. After all, it
it's
took.
supposed to arise.
It's not even supposed to arise. But after all, it took internal wrangling between these terrorist groups for us to hear that is it Shekau?
Yeah, you know, it was that Sheka is dead.
Yes,
You know,
yes. So it took them internally.
Yes.
But he died
Kill
in
it.
time.
And we now began to show videos and began to celebrate that Sheka is dead.
So we
When
just
there
might
was
have Tawji Bello go this way and then later.
Then we'll also celebrate it. If it goes this way, we'll celebrate it. Then where is the armed forces of this nation? And where is the government of this nation? And what are we even doing at all to curb it? If there was no crisis among them, we would have even heard that another part of this nation, some other persons are actually there, sack local governments. These people are paying taxes. So then if you read that story, they are actually fighting that region because it's like a pathway for ants to come in and as fishermen, you know, to do their business. As they are coming in, they will let these guys and make them to pay ransom and taxes to
Our
them.
military has, our government have consistently said, you know, our borders are porous because they're too, they're too wide. You can't man them. You have, our relationship with our neighbors makes it in such a way that you can't have actual border demarcation, you know, like America did. What would you say should be the next move now, seeing that it's not just porous, we have been invaded and our lands are being cordoned off basically by external agents?
Now that insecurity is involved, terrorism is involved, every action that the government need to take to secure this nation as a state, a sovereign state, needed to be done now.
Are we seeing such action happen? Are we seeing it actually play out? Because, you know, recall that I think after the Donald Trump statement and all that, the presidency come up to say that they are ready to end terrorism, and, you know, ending it actually will not. They don't need any delay for that.
Yeah.
That they are actually all out to fight terrorism. Guess what happened? Communities were sacked in Kaduna State. People were also killed in Kaduna. I'm talking about within 48 hours or thereabouts.
Yes.
More like a statement to say you can't do anything. And after that, instead of people to look into it, we saw Nigerians coming up to say that, you know, that maybe bandits or terrorists in Nigeria are here for a business, unlike a particular group that is calling for secession. And some people actually were of the opinion, or rather another Nigerian was of the opinion that they are here asking for revenge. What revenge are we talking about? This man couldn't tell us. And are we really ready to push them out when we have that narrative that they are looking for something?
It's soldiers that are looking for something. But unfortunately, it is the government that's supposed to have diffused that. if there was a functional government.
The government that they are accused of reneging on the promises that they made them, and that is why they are killing people.
That's the reason why they have to show up now and diffuse that allegation, whatever they will term it.
For the past 15 years, they've not been able to do it.
No. I mean, it's obvious now that the ball is on the table of this present government. So subsequent government have failed. But this government should, hit the ground running and reject the system and so that you can even diffuse all these allegations from Donald Trump and whatever that. No, it is not like that. We are working and because Donald Trump have not, he said he's giving us time. That's what the American government says. He's giving Nigeria time to curb it. So let's see what he's going to galvanize within this period and be able to see whether he'll be able to do something positively for Nigerians to actually see that something is working.
All right, thank you very much, Elvis. I'd like for us to stay with what you have said. This government, trying to do it. Ife Salako, Secretary of the Labour Party, a member of Labour Party in Lagos State, has said that look, the president doesn't have the capacity to do something against terrorism, insecurity, and all of that, and that even if he had, he will not do that. Why? Because it's not going to go against the North in 2027 because he wants the vote of the North. And because of that, it is mere lip service. That is what we see between now and 2027, trying to go back and forth, not really doing enough. Because if he does, he will lose the votes of the North. Do you share that sentiment?
Absolutely. Do you know what? It is because, like he said, we have not had leaders. A leader must live by example. I must break to step on toes. It is not the North that can give him the desired vote all alone. Even the northern people we are talking about, they are also plagued by this insecurity. If he is able to come out and act as president and say, okay, I am the commander-in-chief, president and commander-in-chief of the armed forces, that is his title, and he's able to curb this insecurity,
Elvis,
people will speak for him.
Sorry, Elvis,
Nigerians
we have gone beyond that. The question I'm asking directly is, do you think that the president will place 2027 above the life of Nigerians that have been killed?
Oh, subsequently, they'll be doing that. But the other subsequent leaders have been doing that. So he should live by example and even use this to tell Nigerians that...
You are still telling us what should be. Do you think that he will do that? Do you think he's going to fight insecurity to where, push them and stop it? Risk losing 2027 or risk losing vote from the North?
He will not do it. He cannot do it.
He cannot do it.
So that shows.
Right. Yes. Now, Prince, I would like for you to have your take on this. Do you share Ife Salako's sentiment that the president is not going to do anything because apparently he's looking for votes from the North?
Unfortunately, with
sorry, before you start, because we also know that the same North, when you want to fight insecurity and do away with this terrorism, they know how to come out to say, look, you are killing my people.
Okay, Okoro, let's look at it from the perspective of Nigeria.
Okay.
When people come out and say the North, the people that are eating the sugar, the people that are taking the honey, as against the people that are hungry, you find out that the people taking the honey are the ones making noise. The hungry people are left out. So the truth is that when people say the North, I'm happy that with the utterances of Donald Trump, the North suddenly, the leaders in the North suddenly realize that, oh, we from the North were also being killed. You understand what I'm saying? They all realize that they're also being killed. But unfortunately, the narrative that they're putting out is not the good kind of narrative. It's not the truth of the narrative that they should put out. So for me, I think that we have a president that would sacrifice Nigerians for 2027. It's becoming very obvious. Okay. The steps, the actions. See, 400 names were given to the late president as those who are sponsoring banditry, terrorism in Nigeria. Where are they? This same government inherited, so they want to claim from late Buhari's government, the idea of reintegrating, reabsorbing bandits, Boko Haram, when they are captured. So tell me, do you think by doing all of this, this government has the will, the political will to decimate these people?
Okay, now before we go to Abuja, where we've been joined by Lockman Dombe, I would like for you to tell me something. Have you noticed lately that since Trump made this threat, guns are blazing, you have to sit up and all of that, have you noticed that there's been a lull in the number of killings?
No, there hasn't.
Okay, there hasn't.
No. There hasn't.
We have recently in Benue.
Okay.
We have in Kaduna. Yes, no, there's
No, it's not.
There's
Okay.
not.
Well, the only thing is that it's underreported.
But the,
It's underreported.
and
Yes.
again, that even the government now is speaking into it. Before now, it was all denial. But now, and awareness have picked so much that
See,
everybody is speaking.
Okoro, let me tell you where I fault everything that the government is doing. I fault it starting from the 1999 Constitution, where you want us to believe we're a secular state, but in that same Constitution, you're giving more relevance to a particular religion.
Okay.
That is one. Two, the statement by the National Council of Islamic Affairs, headed by the Sultan of Sokoto, is a shame and a disgrace
Yes.
to Nigerians.
That's why
You cannot tell me that because of climate change, you have the audacity to go about killing people and chasing people away from their ancestral homes. If this government is ready to fight these people, by now, they should have started relocating people back to their ancestral homes.
Okay, I like the fact that you brought us to this point, because that was why I asked that same question. When Jonathan through Ihejirika tried to decimate Boko Haram, the North said, look, you are killing my people and all of that. And we have the Sultan that is coming to say, look, don't let outsiders, don't let the United States divide Nigerians. We are one people. And so in all of this, do you think that you have already answered? We are looking for a solution. Do you think that the president can, actually fight Boko Haram and all of that? Now, you've had your take. So I'd like for us to go to Abuja, where we have Mr. Lockman Dombe standing by. Good morning, Mr. Dombe, once again, and good to have you on our show.
For having me.
Okay, beautiful. Now, there's an issue there in Borno State. We have two terror groups, Boko Haram and ISWAP, Islamic State, West Africa Province, struggling for territory in sovereign Nigeria. What's your reaction to that? Does this speak to Nigeria being a failed state, a failing state, or what kind of state do we have in Nigeria?
Oh, that's a good one. I would think that in the case of Nigeria, if it's not a failed state, the signs are there. I mean, there's a big red flag suggesting that, like a Chinese flag suggesting that it's a failed state. This whole thing of denial is something that we like to do because there's no accountability, and those in charge want to take zero responsibility for what's going on. And if you look at it, it's not the first time this is happening. If you recall, this is how Abubakar Shekau, the former leader of Boko Haram, got killed in this kind of turf war that they're having. I think Nigeria has always had an ideological war. Before this country was created, the regions we have today were living separately as separate entities. Of course, we had those that were trying to conquer others, pushing from the north southwards. And while that was happening, the British came in and conquered everyone and redesigned Nigeria and put us all in one group. Now we had these groups who ideologically, if nothing else, even if they haven't had physical warfare, there was some of that, but ideologically, we're in battle constantly.
Okay.
And that is part of the reason why this problem has not been solved. Like you just rightfully said, when they went after Boko Haram, a former president for that matter, came out and said an attack on Boko Haram is an attack on the North.
Have such statements ended at this point in time, Mr. Lockman Dombe, have such statements ended? Because we're still seeing people, especially, some cleric and even some political elites calling for, a non-kinetic approach to the issue of terrorism. I'm talking about the rehabilitation and also the reintegration of terrorist group members back into the society. We're looking at the statement made by the former president. Also, such statement also can be attributed to a former governor in Nigeria and also a former minister who said that an attack on Boko Haram is an attack on the North and all that. So, but we're still seeing such, even with this present administration. So the question now is, have we in any way see such statements abate or leave, or the lips of some prominent Nigerians at this point in time? Have we? Are we going to see that happen in the nearest future? Do we have the strength or the political will to fight insecurity in this country?
Definitely have the will to fight it. But unfortunately, those are not the people in the driver's seat. If you look at the power structure in Nigeria, religion is an identity, whether we like it or not. And if you look at the two major religions, the power structure tips slightly in favor of the Muslims. I'm not saying this because I'm not a Muslim, it's a fact. So it doesn't really matter who the president is, because they will put fire on his buttocks. If anybody who is not one of them gets there, we saw it with Jonathan, they will put fire on his buttocks. So at the end of the day, it's not by letting them go, really. Letting terrorists go scot-free after killing people is not the non-kinetic approach that should be used here. That approach should be ideological.
Okay.
There's need for reorientation, because
need
a lot
for
of these things come as a result of what is being taught. Have you heard some of the sermons on Friday?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear.
Yes, go ahead. We can hear you. Hold on, Engineer Ajay. We will come to you in a moment. I would like for Mr. Dombin to land on his thoughts. Go ahead, Mr. Dombin.
So what I was saying is, if you listen to some of the preaching, for instance, some of the teachings that some of these clerics teach, some of the things they tell their congregations, this is what leads to this kind of ideology.
All right.
And I think in recent times, the Niger State governor had enacted a law where they were asked to submit their sermons. And I think he's absolutely right. I think it's necessary to do that.
Okay.
That's where it begins from.
All right.
So we're not going to win this war with guns alone.
We are not going to win this
for
war with guns alone.
reorientation.
Mr. Dombi, before we leave you now, I would like to ask you one question. ISWAP is fighting with Boko Haram. Should it be convenient for us? Should we be happy? Especially if we put it within the context of my enemy's enemy is my enemy. Both of them are our enemies, and both of them are fighting each other. Should it make us happy?
I think you already answered that question. Both of them are our enemies.
Okay.
So at the end of the day, they're going to come for you.
Okay.
Yes, you answered the question. They're both our enemies. So we can't be clapping and be happy about it, because as a matter of fact, we should take advantage of the chink in their armor. We should take advantage of the fact that they have their hands full and they're going at each other's throats and deal with them at the moment when they're most vulnerable. That's what I think.
Thank you so much, Mr. Dumben, for your submission. Engineer Fimba, let's get you join the conversation. All right, to apologize for that little glitch that we had. What do you make of this particular, news that over 100 people, 100 incident members have been killed? There was a shooting spray. They killed themselves fighting over who will take over a soil, a fertile ground like that from Nigeria. And also, let's get your opinion too on what the former spokesperson of the Labour Party here in Lagos State, talk about Ife Salako, that this present administration under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu does not have what it takes, or they're not even ready to end the issue of insecurity, saying that the reason is as against the 2027 election, which I believe that the president would want to hurt or even step on the toes of the northern elites for that election to work in his favor. Let's get your opinion, please.
Over the space of making progress in Nigeria, and Boko Haram and ISWAP have become a thing of watch for many of us. And it's quite unfortunate that the federal government, who has the constitutional powers to ensure that the territorial boundaries of Nigeria does not allow any kind of sect or group of persons to take laws and take arms and then be playing this kind of games which they are playing within our territories. It's unfortunate that we're providing space for Boko Haram and ISWAP to give us this kind of shame. It shows and a very clear point, as a clear pointer, that the federal government, through the armed forces, have been failing us over the years. This is a case whereby the armed forces should have decimated and wiped out totally these groups from the surface of the Nigerian territory. Sincerely, if you continue to give such news and such credence to such activities of criminal-minded persons and terrorists, you're going to bound to having many more sects who will come from different quarters. We don't hope so, but that is just what this is going to give birth to. It is quite sad that we're using this as quantities of measuring that, yes, Boko Haram is killing themselves. It's not good for us. It's not something that we can continue to accept. I want to use this opportunity to urge our military that, especially the new ones that have been put in place right now, the very recent commanders-in-chief that have been appointed, they should ensure that within the shortest possible of time, perhaps even if before the very next year, they should give us a new year message that ISWAP and Boko Haram totally have been wiped out from that space in wherever they may be operating. It is very sad that you have people going about their legitimate businesses in Nigeria, and then you still have some sect somewhere within the territories of Nigeria carrying out illegal activities. Perhaps it is not something we should continue to condone.
Are we going to leave? Are we going to leave the work?
And the leaderships will.
Are we going to leave the work now, engineer? Are we going to leave the work specifically for the new appointed service chiefs? Given the fact that before now, we also have heard how some, let's say, elites from the north have been against total bombardment of some places.
Sorry,
these elements actually. And I'm talking about the activities now.
I can't hear them right now.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? All right, I guess the technical team actually will work on that network, that particular technical glitch, and rectify it before the end of the show. Now, Prince Francis, back to you. Do you ever think that we're going to end the war? I'm talking about the insurgents, the terrorists, the terrorism, extremist activities happening on the soil of Nigeria with the way the country is structured. We have people who are supporting. I'm talking about people who are supporting these terrorists, the likes of Sheikh Gumi. Yes, the other day we had him on the show. He was of the opinion that they are fighting a religious end war, according to what the Holy Quran said, that a time will come when people like that will come up. And, saying that we should find a way to cut them some slack, more like break them in, embrace them. Some state governors, like the Kaduna state government, have decided to find an initiative to pacify these people. Some places also, they were calling for free education, medical health care. What ordinary Nigerians actually does not have in those regions. What they are giving to them. So are we going in any way see this issue of terrorism or banditry end?
Who are these bandits?
We were told they are foreigners.
If they're foreigners, then you throw them out. If they're foreigners, you throw them out.
But if gain sympathizers...
Anybody, let me tell you the truth, anybody in Nigeria today that opens his or her mouth to say, I am in support of bandits that are from other countries into Nigeria, that person is a bandit. And that person should be arrested. I mean, that is my own position. You cannot say that a man who has 10 children, and then 5 children from another woman that is not related with, would come and usurp the powers of his own children. It will not work. So why are we trying to paint this whole thing as if, as individuals, we don't have common sense? And as a nation, we don't know what to do. I find it, for me, I feel that it's an insult for anybody to tell me that this person is not a citizen, but that he should be accommodated. He should be given the rights or given more rights than the Nigerian citizens. No, I take exception to that. And so anybody in the north, or anybody in the south, or anybody in the west who believes that we must negotiate with Boko Haram, you see, 2 days back or 3 days back, you saw some bandits that were holding meeting for, they call it negotiation and reconciliation. And they said something that everybody's keeping quiet about. They said, what we are doing, the government is the one who asked us. Because and then up till today, nobody from the government has come out to say these guys are lying or to refute what they have said. So for them to have the audacity to say that government is the one that has asked them to do what they're doing, then we're in trouble. It means that we're not even ready. We have not even started the war yet. We have not even started to fight it because it's going to get worse than it is right now.
So that means that you're supporting the bombardment, and if you know,
what do you mean by what do you mean? What is bombardment?
You're looking at
flush them out.
Coming into Nigeria now to carry out the work that we can do. Yeah.
El-Rufai said something recently. He said, kill them, decimate them.
The same El-Rufai who said that they are on the soil for business.
Well, you see,
the same El-Rufai who also made a statement when he was a governor about them and their activities.
Make I bring them to our normal local language. When you wear shoe, you know they pain you. You don't understand the pain when person wear shoe, they pay for like they wear. Now the matter don't enter, don't come reach everybody doorstep.
Including the people that brought it.
Yeah, not reach everybody doorstep. That is why everybody's screaming.
But if that is the case,
not a few days ago that there's few days back that a speaker of the House of Assembly was kidnapped? It don't reach. So now everybody don't they feel the pain, they feel the heat.
If that is the case, then they wouldn't have been continued with the issue of de-radicalization and rehabilitation.
It is cluelessness.
And reintegration. If that actually should be the case, we won't see some people till today still supporting them and their activities.
You see, when he said, Nigeria is a failed state. I've always maintained that position. The only thing that has kept Nigeria going is the resilience of the people. Remove that, Nigeria is gone. Period.
All right. Okay. Now let me ask you this, Mr. Elvis. You know, maybe in 2 minutes or thereabouts, because I'll conclude that. I'll make that to be a concluding thought. You know, how do we get out of all this? Since we've actually identified a problem, what's the solution? What's the way forward?
Sincerity of purpose.
From who and who?
The government.
What about the people who invite them sometimes? Because the land that the
that's where the government should play.
Through invitation of the people.
Nobody should be above the government. The people that invited them, the government should bring them to book. The people they invited to, the government should flush them out. Let me tell you, if the heat is on the kettle, the water in the kettle will definitely boil. By the time the people that brought them in, the government has rounded them up and they are being tried and prosecuted. Like most of this support these guys are getting, it's not these guys that are in the bush that are actually the terrorists. The people who are financing them are the terrorists. If these guys are they're in the bush for 1 week, no food, no money to reinforce their arms and ammunition, they will be out. It will be easy for you and I to see them on the street, drop their arm. But for the fact that the government have not had the willpower, the strength and the boldness to actually round up these people that are financing them, that's why you see the terrorism oil is still being oiled. Honestly, if the government does its job as it's supposed to, a government that knows its responsibilities, safety of life of the citizen and citizens' property and life first, this thing would have been long in the bud. Unfortunately, the government have not done that. So that's why I said sincerity of purpose on the side of government.
Thank you so much, gentlemen, for your submission. We also want you to stay with us as we move over to the second topic of conversation, which happens to be about the recent wanted declaration made by the EFCC, on the ex-Bayelsa State Governor Timi Silva over alleged $14.8 million fraud. We'll discuss this after the break. Stay with us.